Hello and welcome to My Emotional Armor, the podcast where we discuss the effects of covert narcissistic parenting. I am your host, Cindy Koo, a survivor and robot warrior here to share the ways emotional armor can help you heal, stay safe, and regain your sense of self. Hello, listeners. I first and foremost apologize again for the hiatus, and always I thank you for sticking with me through this. As you all know, this CNP stuff is riddled with self-doubt and wondering if I am indeed making all this stuff up. Full transparency, this is why I stopped recording episodes for a bit. Over that time period, though, I received emails from listeners who were so vulnerable with their stories and encouraged me to keep going. In fact, your letters helped me to expand and get out of some black and white thinking that I will talk about in a future episode. But for now, I want to kick off this episode by addressing a sort of subtopic of healing and grounding. Specifically, I want to talk about the advice I'm sure you've heard, which is to, quote, just take some deep breaths. I don't know about you, but this used to frustrate me so much. I can't tell you how many times I'd be on the receiving end of narcissistic rage, trying to breathe my way through it, and it just did not work. I'm remembering one time, specifically, it was in the Columbus Circle Mall, and my CNP had just said, well, I'll just go die then, as a response to me calling them out. Now, if you have a covert narcissistic parent, this is probably a statement that you recognize. Suicide threats are very serious and alarming and not something to play around with. So, empty threat or not, this freaked me out, understandably, and I excused myself to the restroom where I took some deep breaths, as many articles and therapists have advised. No matter how hard I tried, I could not calm down. Then, of course, I started to panic because my CNP is waiting for me to return to the conversation. He got mad at me for leaving in the first place, which then caused me to feel even more anxious. It was a mess. Needless to say, when I got back to my parent, the rest of the discussion did not go well. Okay, so what's going on here? Why does deep breathing seem to work for everyone else and not me? The reason why I realized is that over the years of narcissistic abuse, I had become so disconnected from my body that when I would send it a calming signal, such as a deep breath, I was not able to receive it. On top of that, my CNP used to forcibly hug me when I was in a state of fear, which confused matters even worse in terms of my body and physical space. Once I started to think more about this lack of mind-body connection and meet more people who had experienced narcissistic abuse, I thought others may be feeling the same frustration. Now, as humans, it is natural and healthy for us to move away from danger. The way we detect danger may be external or internal. External would be an angry look from your CNP, a raised voice, or a certain tone. And because you are used to walking on eggshells, you are hyper aware of anything that could set your parent off. An internal signal would be a racing heart, shortness of breath, or for myself, I get the chills and shake even though my blood feels very hot and I might be sweating. So again, the normal healthy reaction is to move away from the threat and towards safety. You weren't allowed to do this growing up with a narcissistic parent. If you had a CNP and moved towards safety, you were berated, guilted, forced to stay in proximity, or some combination of all three. And if you did take a few moments to collect yourself, I would bet this was not given to you willingly or respectfully. I'm recalling a time when I excused myself to the next room during an argument with my CNP so that I could calm down for 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes. I come back and I get hit with the biggest guilt trip about how everything they've ever done has been for me, and now I'm turning my back on them and that now they have nothing to live for. I can't make this stuff up, and I would guess if you are listening to this, you too have been on the receiving end of these type of dramatics. So multiply an experience like that over a lifetime. What are you taught? You are taught that if you move towards safety and grounding, you get hit with guilt and slander. And for those dealing with covert narcissists, you learn that protecting yourself is harmful to them, even if it's something as simple as going into the next room for a few minutes. So over time, what do? You push down and you push through the shortness of breath, the tightness in your chest, and the chills. You learn to ignore everything your body is trying to tell you. It's no wonder breathing doesn't help you. It's like trying to talk into a telephone that's been disconnected. Luckily, with patience, that connection can be rebuilt, and it's actually kind of fun. To put it simply, you'll need to get moving. So dancing, running, walking, yoga, anything really, but this time with intention. And your intention here is to notice what's going on in your body, what you are feeling emotionally, and draw any connections from there. For this reason, I suggest starting with yoga because it focuses on releasing tension in the mind and body. I've done yoga pretty consistently for probably over 10 years now. When I started, I was trying to get into back bend or touch my toes. And what I did not realize is that the physical benefits I was gaining was really only half the win. It's healthy to maintain mobility as we age, but for that, it's not really necessary to be able to do a headstand or a split. Now, over the course of the last 2 years, I've taken my practice down several notches in terms of physical demand and instead do yoga that focuses on certain emotions that I'd like to feel or release. So for example, I may look up a grounding yoga practice or one that addresses opening the heart or improving communication. I'm going to put a link to one of my favorite channels below for this. The gal I like, her name is Nico, and she has an amazing library of practices on YouTube that I use all the time. Now, the other type of exercise that's really good to foster a mind-body connection is dance. I especially like following an easy choreography on YouTube or going to a Zumba class at the gym. Running and walking are also really great. The thing you want to do is notice your mood prior to getting your body moving. If you remember, you can go into it with the intention of releasing some stress or doing something good for yourself. And then notice your mood afterwards. That's really it. That simple act is going to help connect your movement with mood and emotion. Don't have any expectations for yourself. You may feel the same or you may feel different. The goal is only to notice. Over time, you will get better at noticing what is going on with your body in correlation to emotion and what is happening around you. Eventually, you will feel safe in your body again, and you will learn to trust each other. So that the next time you try deep breathing to calm yourself down, your body will know this is what you are signaling. Once you're calm, you'll be able to make decisions about what to do next. This may be taking a time out from talking with your CMP or telling him or her that you will not allow them to speak to you disrespectfully and that you are leaving the conversation. It's really hard to do that when you're frazzled and your brain is offline, so to speak. So I hope these tips help you out. It does take a while, months at least for sure, but with consistent intention to rebuilding your mind-body connection and trust, you will get there. Try to pick a type of movement that you like doing. This will make the process a lot more fun, of course. And I'd love to know the ways that you've done this if you've tried it out. So if there's a dance channel that you like or a favorite yogi, please let me know in the comments. And I will see you all next time. Thank you again for tuning into this episode of My Emotional Armor. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave a review. And if you have any topics you'd like to hear about on the show, please fill out the contact form online at myemotionalarmor.com. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay safe and armored up.